bright moments. I don't necessarily know if this was a major bright spot in the game, but Justin Fields was solid. I thought he was solid. I think you saw, unfortunately, some of the limitations that Fields has as a quarterback in this game. When you actually go back and watch the All-22 and you were to rewatch this game, you can see his warts that popped up. But this is the game that the Jets will take 99 out of 100 times. I would actually say 100 out of 100 times. The Jets would love this performance from Justin Fields. 20 of 27, 226 yards, the touchdown, 7 rushes, 81 yards, 43 yards of that on one play with basically a broken play on 4th down that looked like the Dolphins had it completely shot. Going to get the ball back with good position, go down the field, blow this game open, and instead Fields reverses course of action, breaks down the left sideline, touchdown Jets, and they got some momentum until the Dolphins went right down the field against the Jets defense and scored a touchdown of their own. But you'll take this from Fields any day of the week. Tanner Engstand will, Aaron Glenn will, the entire Jets organization will.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at those numbers at the end of a game, like you'd think the Jets would win most of those, honestly, because that's probably what you expect out of like a good Justin Fields. It's kind of what you were saying. It's somewhere between how he played in week 1 and how he played in week 3. His touchdown one was pretty phenomenal. It kind of is the quintessential Justin Fields play, the kind of play that he's one of the only guys that can make. And it came on a really bad play call where he was getting blown up. It was about to get sacked, and he was able to escape it, and then he evaded some tacklers and made this amazing touchdown run. And it was one of the more impressive quarterback runs I've seen since covering this team and really covering this league. He wasn't accurate at times.
You weren't there for Sam's against the Broncos. That's right. Sam had one against the Broncos. I think it was on Thursday Night Football. That it was almost like he did, if I'm not mistaken, like a fake slide. It was like a 50 or 60-yard touchdown. That one was pretty good, too. It was almost like he kept waiting for it. Sam was athletic, but he wasn't Justin Fields athletic. You were waiting for him to go down, and he never did. It was a really nice play.
But, yeah, I mean, if this is how Justin Fields is going to play every week, they'll be in a lot of games. Yeah. But the reality is, what we keep saying over and over again is when you're down and you can't run the ball every play like they want to, like, can this Jets team do enough to win? And we just haven't seen that they are able to do that. And, it would help to be able to have some passing game earlier. I know that the drive where they ran it all and then Braylon Allen fumbled it, like obviously a lot changes if he doesn't do that. But being able to pass the ball would help the running game also, by the way. So that's the problem. Like, they're very one-dimensional, and when you fall behind, and it's what you and I aren't the only ones to say it. Everybody said it. If you're a running team that only wants to run the ball, when you fall behind, you can't run the ball as much anymore. That's just the way NFL football works. So, that's something they're working through, and they're going to have to figure it out. Maybe they're getting more comfortable with Fields as he seems to be progressing as a passer, and hopefully they start taking shots downfield, which they haven't really done. Get Mason Taylor involved. Find another wide receiver that can do anything. Like, none of these guys have contributed in any way, and get Breece Hall more involved in the passing game as well.
Yeah, I think that Fields was solid. I mean, he threw one pass? What is this? 1, 2, 3.
Hey, he was fine.
Beyond 10 yards, 1 beyond 20. So there are warts to his game. Fields is not an elite passer of the football, but you deal with his inefficiencies as a thrower because what he can do as an athlete and a runner. And you saw the inaccuracies on some missed throws. There was a near interception over the middle because he threw it behind Garrett Wilson. But you're going to have to deal with that. And this is the production you'll take from Fields time and time and time again. I'll be honest, though, Zach, there was a point there in the first half, definitely in the third quarter, where I didn't understand why they continually dropped back and threw to Justin Fields or threw with Justin Fields. And it's not a detriment to Fields. This isn't a Fields insult stat in any way, shape, or form. And we're going to get to the offensive line in a second. But the running game was remarkable. I mean, the Dolphins' front looked so soft. The Dolphins' front looked completely uninterested in playing this game. From the first possession all the way pretty much until the end, the Jets were picking up 4, 5, 6 yards at will. Their worst runs were gaining 3 yards. In fact, there was a play on 3rd and 4 where they handed it off to Isaiah Davis and he got the first down. Like, I genuinely, we saw a couple series in training camp, Zach, where they literally ran the ball like 12 straight times and went down the field and scored. I really felt that's what they should have done. Because every time they dropped back with Fields and the Dolphins knew they wanted to throw, or the Dolphins realized a pass was coming, they were able to design some interesting blitz concepts where they didn't necessarily overload like the Buccaneers were, but you didn't know who was coming, and that's how they were getting pressure on Fields. the running the ball was working, and to get away from it, and it's very weird to say this out loud that you got away from the run when you ran 28 times for 197 yards as a team. Fields, we just showed, had 81, but Hall 14 for 81, Allen 4 for 26 before the injury, Davis 3 for 9. Everybody was having success. Why get away from it? This is what coordinators do. They get too in their own head and they think, oh, we've got to throw. Sometimes you don't. You can just keep running the ball.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have much to add there, but Brees, I will say he was back to looking like he did in Week 1. I thought he played really well. So they still have not really involved him in the passing game in the way that I thought they would have, like all season. I just haven't really felt like he was been involved. And Aaron Glenn said they need to involve him more. That would be like the main fix. Even you can attach that to the running game because some screens out of the backfield, things like that. You need to get Brees the ball more because they just don't have weapons outside of Garrett Wilson, and Brees is your number 2 weapon in this offense.